I've got this book called The New Share Skypes by Kevin Smith, and he has others, uh, super Bibles sized, um, printed out, and it's a pretty amazing group, let's say, of written materials and experiences shared. Anyway, I thought I would read this Past Lives of Magical Dabbling, but I'm not going to read it in the way that it is here because it's not only because it's 4 pages long, but because I found it's an interesting way to go through it. I'm just going to read a line from each paragraph. This was 3 years ago. The process of becoming more aware is simply that, becoming aware of that which we don't know. So, this process of awareness must continue on, or we rather become stuck, self-convinced. Perhaps it wouldn't be such an issue of staying in creation with the simulated reality we have decided and settled in with, if it is personal, self-gratifying, were it not for the reality of this simulator being a controlled reptilian matrix of restriction. Unless, of course, agreement, the consciousness changes that the simulator effect alters accordingly. They won't deceptively program the consciousness that situations, effects, then feature in the experience of individuals as individuals have to decide. Just like as we transition, if we haven't taken the time to become more aware, then after a while of drifting about the astral where most will go on translation, or what term we have for passing, it is boredom, that off the inability to seemingly progress from the personal view perspective that has the individual wanting to go back to what it knew, a physical level, one-dimensional position, and continue its thrill chasing. But until that point, you rather have to keep the personal self-interested, or indeed, most who approach the new presentation in the first place, as it would be for any idea the personal self decides on. Initially, they want to do so. The want to do so is based not so much on benefiting the whole of life and putting it first, but rather from a personal self first and thrill-seeking motivation. For me, I was captivated by the idea of these real-side experiences of meeting aliens and reptilian gods, as rather an extension of my astral projection and other practices of exploration. And as we go through all these tap-line agreements and attachments, very often we have imagery, the scenes and situations of the lifetimes lived, the dimensions and worlds where these agreements were made and these tap lines established. And you come to recognize, get the sense of the experiences that are such tap-line facing and removing activities with the corresponding imagery and lifetimes we see on the real side. Had I not found a new presentation, I imagine I would have continued with what would be once again restricting cause and effect ideas that project me into future lifetimes. And so I would find myself in some dimension, world or other, in the company of a group of individuals. My body form gender was female, and I was seeking to be recruited into a kind of magic society which seemed to be a group of shapeshifters. Thus, with the idea being not to be seduced by the abilities that we can then access, the lure of becoming a black or white magician, with both ensuring we then are resigned to the creational effects of doing so, regardless of how we apply labels or to our deeds and actions of being good or bad. And part of the process seemed to involve not being placed in a forest where the trees seemed alive and all these vines would pierce and penetrate my very body. To quote myself here about the idea of actually being in the forest or nature and being unified with the natural environment. That is, not to become a vine or get pierced by the environment that could penetrate our bodies. Thus, though, it's a different viewpoint entirely about, in this case, being of nature or a real natural environment. Because that which I had decided were ideas in creation, they were completely personal, self-serving, were distortion, and in that they didn't make sense with life, and I would be then embroiled in the effects of and projection into future consciousness, unconsciousness, lifetimes consequently. Interestingly, I had a brief glimpse of the body form I assumed in the lifetime following the life just recounted, and it seems I was now a walking dragon-type reptilian creature. Ouch. Which again, through the body forms we assume, would indicate the nature of the ideas and agreements we have made, as we always project into lifetimes in accordance with the nature of our tap lines. The reptilian form, finally, is prehistoric in its appearance, reflecting the old and outdated agreements to restriction we might make. It will be interesting to see what the effects of that might be. I'm going to back up a second. And it does seem that magical dabbling, especially black magic, is instrumental in affecting lifetimes of the species such as the reptilians. Although it must be added that many reptilians are stepping up and coming around also, and so as more and more of them do, so their species consciousness will shift. It will be interesting to see what the effects of that might be. Maybe their body forms may start to evolve as a reflection of the consciousness becoming less rigid, brutal, and an abrasive attitude driven. Well, thank you, Kevin, for illumination, and it's really always appreciated and recognizable. I was thinking of talking about, or not talking about, no discussion involved really, but about Trump, presidential candidates, harassments, being the, in this case, the female candidate, and the lack of opportunity to vote for anything other than these two sides. And also the fact that the idea was to make it more physically related, is that the third party candidate, Kennedy, related to the former assassinated president, is siding with Trump and telling people to vote for him because this is the authoritarian control module which they wish to maintain, and which is fine, you know, from that point of view, because it's going to be maintained one way or the other. But the point being that we have a situation where the people are going to continually agree with this control, and any observation of what any of these people have to say is clearly, the simplest word is BS all around, and that's clearly evident. And this monopoly of the mind and using words is one of the, what you say, major reptilian activities. And so everyone keeps recreating the situation in the same way that it's been in some new form, supposedly. The major claim that the Republicans are putting forth is we're going to give freedom. Got replicants, therefore related to reptilians, reptile alien hybrid body forms, etc. So there it is. And to put attention on it is part of that agreement that allows, yes, would I come back as in some form as a combative to this, as a person aware of the political, social, business, economic, religious environment. And that is actually what has actually happened with me. So I relate that yesterday with a personal experience where I was walking in the estuary to the beach, and it's really beautiful location. Estuary being a river aqueduct to the ocean, or from the mountains. I think it's cut off from the ocean. Actually, it doesn't actually reach the ocean. It's another curious relationship. But I met at the flea market two Jehovah Witnesses, women. And one of them, almost the very first thing she said was her name was Marcia, and her maiden name was Adams, which is my last name. And she said that she had history, great interest in history, and that her family was, lots of different, also background in different Irish, French, German. She said she had all kinds of stuff in her. But she looked very much like my family members look. Very, very close, and we both recognized that with each other, and that was interesting to see that. That is just a manifestation of the same, and the Jehovah's idea, of course, is the one that they want to share, but they instead talked, and they didn't, basically didn't have to talk about the idea of having to accept the saviors and all of that, which was, because I already know all about it, etc. So this person was, the other woman was interested in the new Sunrise Trail. And so it was an opportunity there to present that, and you didn't have to present it in a way that sounded like there was aggrandizement or manipulation or any such, coercion, or these are bad words for a very nice conversation or a relative way of sharing what it is. So I was at the estuary and took some videos, pictures, and I continued on and met at the beach a woman who was had a makeshift gazebo, and she was playing Santana music, and so I walked over and talked to her and sat down, and she had it all set up with her YouTube, with her computer. So I had her find my songs, and she played them on the beach while we were sitting there talking. And she was all Spanish. We would share with a translator on the phone. I had sentences to share in English. Okay, and she gave me her phones. Very nice, generous. They offered me all kinds of drinks, and it was completely generous and open all the way. Nice. And she has a son who plays guitar, Spanish style, and very good. And they played a video for me of had a little phone. Oh, here's my son. And so it's very, I think, related to an amazing way that we're able to reach people and communicate now. Most of them have some sense of this. And there is largely that self-convinced or self-orientated viewpoint, so that they won't make the bridge or get on the bridge or identify the bridge, but they know the bridge exists. And so, opening the door, the portal, you're going to find all of the reptilians and aliens as well as humans, all kinds of types. It doesn't seem to matter at all in the sense of all of them are just awareness, and they will listen, or they will be fully able to see that what it is already. And that is, I guess, more words I wanted to say about it, but it was good for me to follow where I was being led to, or you could say it like that, or that I had already identified for myself that I was going towards to do, and then got to those places for people because they would all appear one way or the other. And so that happened a third time. I went to the hardware store looking for batteries, which they didn't have. It's a beautiful hardware store on the river. And I met a man, Arthur, who, because I asked for an electric power cord that I couldn't find anywhere, or asked all around, and the store did not have it either. They didn't have an electric power cord for a guitar. It seemed like a perfectly logical hardware piece, but that's how everyone is. They're in their logical, directed, one-dimensional, basically, area, and they don't see the wider perspective of the providence that's available. So, but in this case, the man was standing there, and he heard me ask, and he was translating a bit in English, and he said, "Come with me, and I've got these two. Would you help carry some of the stuff he bought to the car?" Sure. And he took me back to his place on the beach where I had just been, one of the beautiful places. And inside he had a solar panel pool that was really nice, small, but smallish, but it looked like a really like a healing waters. Yeah, nice. And so he said that they're doing podcasts, and he does podcasts that are translated, that is, from other like iHeartRadio or Peace Nature Movement, stuff like that, this kind of music, etc. So he doesn't generate his own podcast. They reflect the podcast through his channel or whatever, and that's what he's doing. So I communicating with him a bit about the new you, or gave him our card, or tried to. But again, he was one that was, mostly interested in just what he had to share for me, which was a chord, maybe I can use with the electric guitar. So I got that, and not only that, he gave me this big loads of food, and food that you use for hiking. Another bag. He gave me two different things, and I didn't ask for it. It's just provenance, you could call it if you want. That's one word for it. And that's really what Val is doing here with the nature trail, the Sunrise New Trail. It's a model or a station or a mission, if you will, and a presentation. Obviously, the real trail is what we're referring to, and it's not something that gets readily identified. Nonetheless, you know, there's people who are recognizing it, and sometime there's going to be a quantum leap, I think. I guess, I don't know, it's a thought I just had about where this whole of people go, okay, you know, there's something that we're all sharing and we're all doing something individually with it, but maybe now we can, as humanity might. And so we can bring that back to Trump, because they're presenting something where they're saying our way is going to be freedom. You're all going to be free with us. And, you know, it's a total lie, if you will. It's a heavy word, but they're saying, you know, we got to get out of this view where the Democrats are taking all the money and then they're giving it to all the people, you know, to take care of them so that they can have babies and take care of their babies and they don't need to work. Or that, you know, that's their big objection to what the Democrats' view is. Okay, valid is whatever, but that's not the point, though. Is that they're the idea that they're presenting that looks like it's going to be what looks good. It's going to appear to be good, but not. No, it's not an improvement. It's not a. But there's a lot of movement going on that's related to the energy field. As one example, where the hydrogen fuel, there's all kinds of new vehicle powered or other forms of using power. And I guess I'll finish with this, is that the green grow revolution, hydroponic, self-sufficient, energy producing garden idea created by Michael Smith, and the thing's called Regenitech, and they're offering this to people to create a self-sufficient community with a functioning battery-powered cord into the into the community area wherever they are, but making them individualized units, if you can call it that, in each, you know, that I would like to support that. And because this isn't looking for people to support our system with their money or their agreement, our system. No, we're not asking for them to support our system because it's not a system. So this is a way of doing something that is the real individualization. I'm going to leave it there. And Val, I'd like you to comment something that your awareness of this, the individualization idea. I'm just using the term, you know, instead of it being a link up of everybody's linked up to the central power station. It's not that. It's every unit is its own power station, I guess you'd say. And so this is a completely different way. And it also takes it out of the economic power station control module that is the common, the one that everyone believes in. I'm part of the nation. I'm part of the religion. You've got to connect to this religion or this nation. No need. and it takes away all of that need and survivalism, self-survivalism, etc. So, please, thank you, everybody. It was a fun experience to be able to share all that.
Thanks, Peter. I will go into the hiking part of it because that's where my attention is. So the hikers are a unique breed because they're, in a way, exploring something into the unknown. They're going into the unknown, especially long distance hikers, but even just going out into nature sometimes. And each person has their own different reason for doing this. And I noticed the long distance hikers, well, they especially have reasons that get them outdoors, get them into nature and away from the systems. And this is like because maybe they have a relationship that didn't work out, or a loved one died, or they don't know what they're going to do in their life. Any number of reasons to get them outdoors and into this area of the unknown to explore. Maybe they can find something for themselves. That's what they're thinking, Maybe I can find myself. Maybe I can resolve what's going on with me. So it's a great opportunity for people to see something else beyond what they already know. And like I say, it's an unknown. Usually it's something away from the systems, the comfort zone, the safety, and into the danger zone, and something that they're not familiar with. And you can see, by the way, refer to the long distance hikers, they prepare for this journey. And that's what we're doing here. We're preparing, helping prepare people for the unknown. And preparation for a long distance hike is rather cool. It's like the anticipation, the you don't know what's going to come, and you really can't prepare for the unknown, but you do the best you can by listening to other people who've done it, reading books, watching YouTube videos, watching movies, etc. But really, there's no preparation that can help you. You just have to get out there and do it. So again, the hiking metaphor and the hiking angle. We're using many angles to reach people, so this is just one. Get them outdoors, away from the mindset of the systems that have created their agreements, and into something more real. Hunger, cold, thirst, heat, discomfort, that sometimes shocks people or rattles them up, so they have something else to consider, like their survival. But from there into, considering there's something else besides that too. And that's where, with all the things we have out there in the Facebook groups and the videos, etc., that we're doing to help people wake up. Well, we reached a lot of people that way, so maybe here and there people will take advantage of it and do something for themselves to wake up more so.
One of the keys, we got is something I call following the bouncing ball. And we used to watch songs when we were kids, cartoons, and they'd have the ball following the words, so you could sing along. Tippity-doo-dah, ding, tippity-yay, my oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine coming my way. Tippity-doo-dah, tippity-yay. And I was thinking, because one thing happened at the end of the journey yesterday. I mistakenly or whatever, I could have actually caught the bus almost immediately after I got dropped off at the end of the meeting with the man. And I was talking with the guard there at the gate. Instead of, if I had just turned and looked down the road to see the bus coming, I could have gotten it like almost immediately. I practically walked on the bus from there. So I missed it. So I had to wait quite a good bit of time for the next one. And that was fine because I'm right on the beach, a high viewpoint, just, beautiful out. And he'd given me all the food I needed. There I had the Living Cafe. Very lucky, you could say, but I think it's following the following, let's say. So while I was out there at the ocean, I got that song, Zippity Doo Dah, in my head. And I thought, okay, that's the song for the moment. And that's, just listening to whatever is there. So that's my new you for today with us.
Okay.
Experience was writing here. I was translating this more in English. I saw that I was telling the children that I have become a guide, and I was explaining to them that we came and talked to DUANE and asked DUANE to see what DUANE said so that he would believe. When we asked DUANE, DUANE told me that no, it's too early for you to be a guide, but keep going. I didn't say anything more. Then I saw that I wanted to put milk on the gas too and make it ready and eat it because I mostly drink milk for breakfast. I wanted to pour the milk into the pot to heat it up, but I didn't pay attention and I poured the milk on the gas. That is, half of it was poured on the gas and half of it was poured into the pot. After that, I wanted to clean the milk that was spilled on the gas, and it's interesting here, just now, that is, in the morning, I had put the milk on the gas stove to heat up and drink it, and it was introducing Novi to another person, that is, I was sending into him when he spilled a little of the milk on the gas, and so this was the translation here.
New